Yo, mi amigos. So, obviously, from the caption, as you go see, this is a resting video, and this is about two days out from my previous training session of doing the chest and bicep. And obviously, if I'm going to grow, I want to rest, but at the same time, too, just like all you other guys out there or females, whatever, I want to stay a little bit active, but not put too much strain and stress on my body, my muscular system, and my skeletal system. I don't want to do all that. So, what is a really good way to do that, obviously, is swimming. I'm not that big of a swimmer a lot of times. I mean, I like to be in the water, but I don't swim as often, is what I'm saying. And as you can tell by my strokes, I'm looking like I'm fucking fighting the water. Like I'm damn near about to pass out. I mean, my body got a lot more muscle on it. It's a lot more dense, so it's not easy for my big ass to stay afloat in the water. But this is a good way to keep my metabolism going, to put stress onto my body with resistance, a good amount of resistance. That water is about like 800 times more denser than air, but I can still stay afloat. And as you can see, I'm doing certain movements and rotations with my arms out here. I'm just doing spinal rotations with my arms out to keep that resistance going. My arms are basically fighting the water and everything. And just little movements like this, little movements that could keep my body energized, improving my overall health and everything is what you want to do. Like stuff like this, it's just I'm rotating my arms and using the resistance. It's like almost the same kind of concept as bands. It's a good way to keep everything flowing and going. So a lot of times as I'm resting, I'm gonna be sit down during the day, and so I'll just start to do this. I kind of just woke up just like, I'm just gonna go for a swim. This wasn't even pre-planned. I just figured it would be a good idea, to be honest. And so, yeah, that's what I had about that. And then I got to the food. So this is about 5 eggs with green onion and a potato with some sauce, 2 pieces of toast, jelly, butter, and a side of oatmeal. I know that shit looks dry as hell, but yeah. And this is where I really want to get in. This is really where the recovery process come in, is the stretching. It's just, if you want to make gains, if you want to get stronger, faster, better, you gotta stretch, especially after exercise. That increases the hormones, the endorphins, the dopamine, that precedes the recovery process of you growing mentally and physically. And so these little stretches, I'm gonna go over them with you because I don't think I ever did that before. This right here, I'm basically stretching my ab muscles. I'm not going to use the right terminology. My ab muscles, but also my lats, my arms too, and my psoas muscle, the muscle that's like kind of in between my belly and my chest, but it's a little further down. And so I'm basically holding on to the bar while gripping my hand and pulling my body towards the left side, increasing the range of motion and the stretch in my body, obviously, so I can have good cardiovascular health and everything. And as you can see too, I'm rotating a lot. Good spinal health is really good for you overall, and I don't think you ever really should neglect that. And right here, I'm just moving just to move. I just want my body to be as fluid with movement as possible. And so right here too, I'm using these kettlebell stretches to release tension, not only in my neck as I'm doing right here, but in my rotator cuff. You always want to decrease stress within the neck and everything. The neck connects to the psoas muscle, a lot of these muscles are fucking interconnected like that. And so as I release the stress in my jaw, I release the stress in my I release the muscle tension in my abdomen as well, holding it behind the neck too. Just moving my neck side to side to release any excess tension. I much prefer to release tension in my upper body, so that way my lower body can have a way better stretch and increase range of motion. Just like what you see here, if I'm touching my toes and everything, I'm not gonna have that because my lower back is fucking tight. And so I just take this and I move my lower back and body side to side, releasing the tension in my lower back and retention in my hamstrings too. It's okay to relieve some tension in your lower body when you do these stretches. It's not a problem. This right here too, I'm increasing the range of motion within the stretch so I could get deeper in my frontal delts. And I'm just moving side to side to keep that balance going. Because obviously if you keep an imbalance, you're going to stretch one side more than the other. It may be minor, but the little things matter, just like in a fucking relationship. You gotta, I'm moving. You gotta tackle the little things before you can get to those big things, or the little things are the big things, but that's not the point. And I'm just releasing more tension here in my back. I really like to release tension in my back, because the back is basically one of the strongholds in the body. Will depend on what type of ranges of motion you'll get in the stretch. And so I'm releasing more tension here in my neck and everything, while putting my body and the joints in my frame in a more mobile position. I want to increase flexibility while simultaneously increasing mobility as well. It's like I'm doing here, stretching the abdomen while stretching my lats as well. And here too, I'm stretching my glute. I kind of just came up with this one on the fly. I'm kind of proud of myself. I'm using that weight on the machine as a counterweight to kind of increase the stretch within those deep, smaller muscles in my glutes and in my hips as well. I'm just moving side to side, left and right, to kind of hit the lower part of the glute and the upper part of the glute. And I keep doing this, and I keep doing this. And here, obviously, I'm using a kettlebell. I know I keep saying fucking obviously. I'm using the kettlebell to move side to side to increase that deep stretch in the groin area, and to also increase the stretch in my calves as well. Calves are stupidly important. Damn, I got deep here. And this type of stretching is very good for anybody. You don't have to do it the exact way that I do it, but when I like to stretch, I like to flow. The flowness of the stretch is what really makes it more deeper, more compatible mentally and physically. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just moving, to be honest, in deeper ranges of motion that you wouldn't really move in throughout the day. And that's really what you want. And you got to realize too that it's always good to stretch when it's kind of like hot. Stretching is a workout. Stretching is kind of like posing. It's like isometric or static tension, as you may call it, whatever you want to call it, no matter. It's like static tension, and you want to keep that static tension, yet you want to move within this stretch from time to time, whether that be dynamic or isometric. I like to move within the stretch, and I like to stay isometric, kind of having that blend of balance. That's what keeps it better. That's what keeps the mobility going at the same time, keeps the flexibility going as well. But you also have to remember too, just like what I'm doing here, I'm stretching my quad, but the thing that makes it different is that I'm pushing back to enhance that stretch, and I'm turning my body different ways, because you have to remember, you have, that's why they call it muscle groups. There's different types of muscle within that muscle group, and you may not hit that certain specific muscle that's more so needed, which could probably cause an injury. It's just like you get relieve tension, but what's the use of stretching if you don't try to hit all the muscles? You may not if you can't really go through different ranges of motion. But I've been stretching for years now, so I feel like I can hit all those little small minor points, just like with here too. A hamstring stretch, simple. I'm using the weight as not only a counterweight, but something to increase that range of motion within the flexibility of the muscles. And I'm turning side to side. I'm getting deeper, hitting different positions, and I'm also stretching my groin a little bit wider as well, so I can hit those different hamstring muscles and those different glute muscles as well, since those are connected. I mean, you may be stretching one group of muscles that you think, but you will also be stretching another group of muscles because everything is connected. And here, I just wanted to kind of show it off a little bit. It's not to the peak of where I want it, but one of my favorite stretches is touching your toes, but not only touching your toes, is folding your body in half. That really gives a good indication on how flexible you really are. But this is the rest day. This is it. This is what I like to do. And obviously there's more behind the scenes, but this is what I chose. And so, yeah, basically food, stretching. Stretching is the biggest thing. Stretch after you work out, stretch a little bit before you work out, and get that good stretching and just revitalizing your body. It's as simple as that. I don't have to go balls to the wall with anything, or I could just do simple band work. But honestly, this is all what I have for today. This is all the training, and yeah, that's about it.